The Noah Purifoy Outdoor Desert Art Museum is 10 acres of open-air installations built from the things that most people throw away. Noah Purifoy wasn't just an artist. He was a social worker, a thinker, and one of the founders of the Watts Tower Art Center. After the 1965 Watts Rebellion, he used debris from the aftermath to create sculptures that explored race, poverty, and the systems people lived within. In the 1980s, he moved to Joshua Tree, and for the last 15 years of his life, he turned the desert into his studio. Out here, he could build without limits. Every structure on this land, the giant maze-like walkways, the towers made of toilets and televisions, the weather-beaten chairs, the doors that lead to nowhere, was assembled from discarded materials. Wood, metal, rubber, appliances, scraps, all transformed by the desert sun and Purifoy's sense of possibility. None of it is hidden inside a gallery. It stands exposed to the wind, the heat, cold, and time, just the way he intended it. Walking through the museum feels less like looking at art and more like stepping into someone's ongoing thought process. The pieces are playful, they're political, they're strange, sometimes they're heavy. Some installations make you smile, while others make you pause and wonder what Purifoy was trying to say, or what you're supposed to take from it now. What makes this place unforgettable is that it's still evolving. The desert keeps reshaping the work, aging it, cracking it, shifting it, and adding another layer to the story. Purifoy believed that art didn't need to be permanent to have meaning, it just needed to be honest. And out here, surrounded by silence and sky, the honesty in his work feels louder than anything. This museum has a special way of reminding me that creativity doesn't always have to come from the perfect materials or where you expect it to come from. Sometimes it comes from whatever life hands you. If one were wandering across the Joshua Tree Desert, you'd be likely to come across this vision rising from the sand. A monumental sculpture titled Transmission. Towering some 32 feet above the desert floor, this serene female figure, her face calm, her eyes closed, seems to emerge from the earth itself, her giant hands spread wide. But her hands are more than just gesture. Each palm holds a circular cutout filled with shimmering dicoric mirror glass tiles. As light shifts across the desert, those tiles catch the sun and sky, scattering color and reflection. It's as if her hands transmit energy between land and sky, body and cosmos. A crescent moon motif graces her forehead, and similar moon shapes hang from her palms. Subtle but powerful reminders of the celestial cycles of night and of day, of cosmic rhythm. She stands in the open desert, rooted in sand and sky, inviting quiet contemplation. Her stillness holds space for connection to earth, to universe, to something larger within and beyond ourselves. For those driving by, there's a turnout on Sunfair Road where the piece can be viewed from a respectful distance. It's not an up close and touch, but that distance gives the sculpture space to breathe, to embody its message that humanity, nature, and the cosmos are entwined. Seeing Transmission at dawn or at dusk when the light is gentle and the desert is quiet, you begin to feel how art can quiet the mind, stretch the spirit, and whisper, we are part of something that is bigger than ourselves. This place kind of feels like a dream built from scrap metal and imagination. The Simi Daba Sculpture Garden. For over 50 years, Simi Daba has been transforming industrial scrap, so we're talking discarded steel or old beams, metal remnants, into bold, abstract sculptures. Simi didn't learn art in a fancy school. He taught himself to weld, shape, and create, giving new life to what others considered trash. Over time, what began as a personal practice turned into something far larger. More than 2,000 sculptures crafted over the decades, and now hundreds of them displayed across 8.5 acres of desert land near Sunfair Road in Joshua Tree. Walking through the garden feels unlike any typical museum visit. There's no walls or lights. Instead, you see open sky above, you see the sand, the desert scrub, and the rusted steel sculptures rising, some modest in size, others soaring many feet in the air, their rough surfaces left intentionally unfinished so that they can age with the earth and the weather. These sculptures are non-representational. They don't mimic people or animals or specific objects. Instead, they're abstract shapes and forms. They invite you to interpret, to feel, to project your own meaning onto them. You might see arches touching the sky, twisted spirals that catch the light, looming towers of metal that feel almost architectural, or subtle pedestal pieces that shift in significance depending on the angle you stand at. What makes this space special isn't just the art, it's the message behind it. The foundation, established in 2015 by Simi and Julie Debas, exists not only to preserve this enormous legacy of art, but to share it. Through sales and donations of sculptures, the foundation supports nonprofits across the Morongo Basin and Coachella Valley. Over the years, they've donated $130,000 to local causes and gifted dozens of sculptures valued at hundreds of thousands of dollars to colleges, parks, and public institutions, putting art into everyday community spaces. If you head into downtown Joshua Tree, tucked behind a row of bright, quirky storefronts, you'll find one of the most eccentric little landmarks in the desert, the world-famous Crochet Museum. It sits inside an old lime green photo booth that artist Shari Elf rescued and transformed. From the outside, it's small and playful, but once you step inside, it becomes a tiny universe made entirely of yarn. Every inch is filled with crochet creatures, cats, poodles, ice cream cones, dolls, and characters that make no sense at all. Each one donated, found, or rescued. Some pieces are beautifully made, while others are charmingly lopsided, but that's the magic of it. The Crochet Museum celebrates creativity without rules, where every stitch has its own personality. It's a place that makes you smile before you even realize it's happening. Right next to that sits the Sun Alley Shops, a cluster of colorful, independent micro stores that almost feel like a little artsy desert village. These tiny little shops carry handmade goods, vintage items, local art, quirky gifts, and pieces created by Joshua Tree makers. The storefronts are bold and bright, painted in vibrant colors that stand out against the sand and the sky. Each shop has its own personality, and wandering through the alley feels like moving from one little world to another. Together, the Sun Alley Shops and the Crochet Museum form one of the most creative corners of Joshua Tree, I would say. It's a place where art doesn't take itself too seriously, where small spaces become entire experiences, and where the strange, sweet, and handmade all live side by side. It's the kind of shop that reminds you how much charm a town can hold when the artists are given freedom to play. Pioneer Town is a real town that was built to look like the Old West, created in 1946 by a group of Hollywood actors and movie producers who wanted a functioning frontier-style set where they could both film and live. Main Street, which is the heart of Pioneer Town, was designed so that cameras could roll out at any moment. The rustic storefronts, livery stables, and weathered facades weren't just props. Many of them were real businesses. Over 200 Western films and TV episodes were shot here in the 1940s and 50s, keeping the dusty street busy with horses, wagons, and stunt performers. Today, Pioneer Town still holds on to that old Hollywood magic. The buildings remain standing against the sun and stand, and the town has evolved into a mix of historic atmosphere and modern desert culture. You can wander past the old jail, the mock bank, the saddle shops, and the wooden sidewalks that creak as you walk. Tucked at the end of the street is Pappy and Harriet's, the famous roadhouse that transformed Pioneer Town into a music destination. What started as a cantina built for a Western set is now one of the most iconic music venues in the desert, hosting everyone from local artists to major touring musicians. Pioneer Town is part movie set, part living history, and part modern community.